All right, today we're going to peel back the curtain on one of the hidden engines that pretty much runs our entire digital lives, APIs. Now, if that sounds super technical, don't worry. We're going to make it really simple by looking at something we all get, event invitations. And we'll start with a question you've probably never even thought about. Seriously, think about that for a second. You buy a movie ticket or a concert ticket online and poof, like magic, a calendar invite just shows up on your phone and it has all the right details. How in the world does that happen? Well, it's not magic. It's an API, an application programming interface, and it's designed beautifully. You know, the easiest way to wrap your head around an API is to think of it like a waiter at a restaurant. Your app, that's you, the customer. The other system, say Ticketmaster's database, that's the kitchen. The API is that waiter. It's the critical go-between that takes your very specific order, like, hey, I need the details for this event, and it brings back exactly what you asked for. It's the perfect messenger. So to really get this, we're going to start small, like really, really small. We're going to zoom all the way in and just look at the raw data for one single event. Okay, so let's put ourselves in the shoes of a user. The first, most basic thing you need to know is, what is this event? You know, what's it called? Where is it? When does it start? You just need those basic facts. And this, right here, is how your application asks for that information. It sends what's called a GET request, which is just a fancy way of saying, give me this thing, to a specific web address, which we call an endpoint. You can think of that endpoint as the waiter's direct line to the kitchen just for this type of order. And that little UID thing, that's just the unique ID for our event, kind of like an order number. And this is what the API brings back from the kitchen. See how neat and tidy this is? We get a clean summary, a location, the event status, confirmed, and these start and end times. Now, those crazy long numbers are what we call timestamps. They're a universal way for computers everywhere to agree on a very precise moment in time, down to the second. So, knowing the what and the when, that's great. But if you're the person running the event, the next thing you're desperate to know is about the people, right? How many did I invite? And more importantly, who actually said yes? And to get that answer, we use a different endpoint. See how it just builds on the last one? We're still asking about the same event, but now we're adding /statistics. We're being more specific. It's like telling the waiter, okay, thanks for the description. Now tell me how many people have ordered this dish tonight. And boom, here's the answer, visualized perfectly. So for this one baseball game, we can see that 6 invites went out, 3 people are coming, 2 are maybes, and 1 person hasn't even looked at it yet. And hey, good news, so far nobody said no. It's just a super simple, clear picture of who's engaged with this one event. Okay, so that was the micro view, one little event. But what if you're not just a guest? What if you're the organizer and you're juggling dozens, maybe hundreds of these things? Let's zoom out a bit and see what that looks like. This change in perspective totally changes the kinds of questions you ask. As an organizer, you're not just worried about one event's RSVP list anymore. You need that bigger picture. You need to see your whole lineup of events and understand how you're doing overall. This right here is the money question for an organizer. I don't have time to check my events one by one. I need to know in total, how am I doing? What's my total attendance? What's my overall engagement rate? And of course, the API has the perfect tool for this exact job. Notice we're not using an event ID anymore. Now we're using the organizer's email. We're asking for the statistics, not for a single event, but for everything this person is running. And there it is, 456. That's the total number of accepted invites this one organizer has gotten across all of their different events. All of a sudden, we've jumped from a single event with 6 invites to a whole portfolio with hundreds. But this is where it gets really cool. The API can give us even deeper insights, like where did these attendees come from? And for this organizer, this is fascinating. The huge majority, 355 of them, came from internal tests. But after that, we can see that their multi-event pages and specific landing pages are bringing in real people. This is pure, actionable business intelligence, all served up by the API. Okay, so we've gone from a single event to a single organizer. Now, let's take that final jump. What if you're running the whole platform, the whole system? You need that 30,000-foot, God's eye view of absolutely everything that's happening. And check out the view from the top. We went from 6 invites for one event to 456 for one organizer to this, over 250,000 attendees across the entire platform. The sense of scale here is just wow. And it's at this massive scale that you can find some really amazing hidden insights. For example, the API data can tell us how people are adding these events to their calendars. So the platform's own tool is number one, sure, but look at that. Google Calendar is by far the most popular external tool people use, followed by Microsoft Exchange. If you're a developer for this platform, this is gold. It tells you exactly where you should be focusing your efforts. So we've gone from micro to meso to macro. We've seen these three different layers of detail, but why? Why build an API this way? Why does this tiered structure actually matter so much? Well, it really boils down to the power of these three tiers. First, you get scalability. The design just works, whether you're managing one tiny event or a million of them. Second, role-based access. This is huge for security. It makes sure a guest can only see their own invites, an organizer only sees their events, and so on. And finally, you get these deep insights. The structure lets you ask the right questions at the right level, and that uncovers powerful patterns you'd totally miss otherwise. What we've really seen here is that this elegant, layered structure isn't just for calendar invites. This is the invisible architecture, that silent waiter that's running back and forth behind so much of what we do online every single day. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If a simple event API can tell a story this rich, what other secrets are just waiting to be discovered in the data of our daily lives?